Welcome outside Gillette Stadium, everybody. My name is Mike Petraglia, joined as always by Patriots expert columnist for WEEI.com, Christopher Price. The Patriots are playing, yes, the New York Football Giants, and I guess, Chris, in one way, history would indicate that it should be rainy and dreary and kind of miserable out, because that's been kind of the experience the last three times, for Patriots fans anyway, that the Patriots have taken on the Giants. Look, the first question asked of Tom Brady today, or one of the first questions, was, why are the Giants so tough? And I thought Tom's explanation was pretty much spot on. These aren't the same New York Giants.
Yeah, I think that it's a fun narrative to look back at 2007 and 2011 and the way those seasons ended and compare those teams with this team. This New York Giants team bears absolutely no resemblance to the 2007-2011 teams. There's no Justin Tuck. There's no Osi Umenyiora. There's no Michael Strahan. They're not the big physical front that the Patriots saw in 2007-2011. It's a far different team. I think there are real issues for that team up front, and I think they can be run on. I think that when you look at the way the matchups are, the Patriots haven't been the most overwhelming team when it comes to running the football, but they've been able to run the football when they've had to. Last week against Washington is a really good example. I think the Patriots are going to run the football this Sunday against the Giants. I think they're going to be able to pick up good yardage against the Giants because, again, this is not the same defense the Patriots fans saw in 2007, 2011. Way different. I think the Patriots can exploit some of those vulnerabilities.
The obvious factor that the Patriots have to keep in mind on Sunday is taking care of the football, namely not giving it to the New York Giants. Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie and Prince Amakamura are just two of the guys in that Giants secondary that have a league-leading 13 interceptions. They have a NFL-leading plus 12 turnover ratio. The next closest teams, Chris, are the New York Jets and these Patriots at plus 7. So it kind of indicates to me that this is a kind of a, fly-by-night chance to, capitalize on your chances type of defense, not really a physical defense.
No, it's not. I mean, for all the deficiencies that I just kind of rattled off when you're talking about New York on the defensive side of the football, they do a really good job at stripping the ball. Talking to Tom, talking to Bill, really the number one strength of that defense is their ability to force turnovers. They don't tackle, and I thought that was interesting to hear. They hold guys up and will try and punch at the ball and try and knock it away. That's one thing to look for. I think it's going to be interesting. The Patriots last week had at least a couple of turnovers. I think 3 turnovers against the Redskins. That was another team that did a really good job when it came to forcing turnovers. I wonder in back-to-back weeks, maybe you're a little bit more aware of ball security. I mean, ball security is obviously paramount each and every week, but I think this week, last week, I think it's absolutely vital to the Patriots if they want to be able to do what they want to do.
Okay, just kind of parsing through Twitter a little bit this morning, and after practice, I attended practice, and there were 3 offensive linemen not in attendance. That would be Marcus Cannon, Trey Jackson, and obviously Sebastian Vollmer coming off that head injury from Sunday against the Redskins. How concerned are you if none of those 3 offensive linemen play on Sunday?
It leaves you really, really thin. You have guys there that you can do some mixing and matching with, as we saw last week. Cameron Fleming, Brian Stork. The guards can play multiple spots. You can move some guys around, but you cannot afford an injury. That's the thing. I think that if those 5 guys hold up from start to finish, I think you're in good shape. But if one of those guys goes down, you have to get creative again. I wouldn't be surprised to see Mike Williams move from his tight end spot. We've talked about him before. Right. He's a tight end, really name only. Move from his tight end spot to a tackle position. So you do have some options there. But again, you're very, very thin as we sit here right now on Tuesday. And, you can't afford any more bodies, losing any more bodies between now and Sunday. So I understand that they're kind of taking the cautious approach with these guys when it comes to practice. Obviously, the walkthrough today, I think that figures into it as well. But, yeah, there's not a lot of margin for error here if you're talking about the New England offensive line.
All right. When you talk about the New York Giants defensive front, you obviously mentioned all of the players that are not there, but the one guy that did return last week against Tampa Bay in their win over the Buccaneers, Jason Pierre-Paul. He is playing with that modified glove on his right hand. How did you think he looked? He had 2 tackles, and that was it.
Yeah, I think that they're ramping him back up. And, I asked Bill about this, about not only preparing for a guy in Jason Pierre-Paul who is unique physically, but at the same time, you just don't know where he is condition-wise. Right. So I think he played 50-something snaps last week against the Bucs. It's going to be interesting to see how much they lean on him. I imagine it's going to be a little bit of situational football in his case. third downs, other passing situations, we're going to see him. He's not really he's never been great against the run. And I think that it's interesting because the Giants have lost a handful of guys in there, including Hankins, probably their best run stuffer. So I think Jason Pierre-Paul is going to be more of a situational guy this week. I will say this, it's going to be interesting to see him. He's probably going to be a little bit faster on the turf at MetLife as opposed to where he was last week in Tampa. It's just something to look for.
All right. The Patriots, I did not think at all, missed Jamie Collins last week. But if he is out again, and he was not at the walkthrough, for what that's worth again on Wednesday here at Gillette Stadium, he was not inside the bubble. If they don't have Jamie Collins, you're talking about a much more dynamic offense in the New York Giants and Eli Manning that you were facing in the Redskins.
Yeah, you really are. The passing game, the running game is still kind of middle of the road, but the passing game, I think, in a lot of ways, is really, really deep. You not only have, we know Shane Vereen. We know what Odell Beckham Jr. can do. They have a very workmanlike tight end in Donald. They have Ruben Randall, who's a really good number 2. They have a lot of options there in the passing game. This is not the kind of the ground and pound physical team. We talked about them not being as physical on the defensive side of the ball. They're also not as physical on offense. They like to throw the ball. They like to put up points. They're going to be able to move the ball when it comes to the passing game. And the Patriots do have to match that depth with a guy like Collins who can match up on a tight end or a running back. I think it's going to be fascinating to watch what the Patriots decide to do when it comes to Odell Beckham Jr. Do you give him Logan Ryan and some safety help over the top, or do you do one-on-one, not one-on-one all day, but one-on-one with Malcolm Butler? So there are a lot of different options there when you're talking about slowing down what is a pretty dynamic passing game.
Had the chance to ask Bill Belichick, Chris, about the difference in Eli Manning since the Patriots last played him, which was, of course, Super Bowl XLVI in Indianapolis. And Belichick said he gets rid of the ball faster, a little bit faster. They're a little more up-tempo. Obviously, they have installed more of the West Coast offense elements. Do you see that in Eli Manning's game? You watch a lot of tape. Do you see Eli getting rid of the ball, not taking as many sacks?
Definitely. We talk about the Patriots offense being predicated on timing and rhythm and tempo, and we all know about their ability to go no huddle the last few years. It's been really, from an old school perspective, again, you think the Giants, you think slow, physical, running the ball. Right. This is not that kind of Giants team. They run a lot of no huddle. They run a lot of up tempo, and a lot of that goes back to Eli Manning and his ability to get the ball out as fast as possible. It's the contrast between the two. Eli Manning was not always like a Tom Brady kind of a quarterback, and I want to parse my words here. I don't want to kind of come right out and say Eli Manning is a lot like Tom Brady, but in terms of getting the ball out quickly, in terms of working with his offensive line, in terms of really developing a good rhythm, a good tempo with his passing game, I think he's come an awful long way over the last couple of years.
All right, Rodney Harrison told our midday show on Tuesday that if the Patriots lose this game, there's some type of conspiracy. It's some type of psych job that's going on, a mental block, the words he used, with the Patriots against the Giants. Bottom line, Chris, can the Patriots put all of that in the past? Do they come out and beat the Giants on Sunday?
I think they're going to beat the Giants. I do. I think that New York is going to put up a lot of points, and I think it's going to be one of those bigger shootouts. I think it's probably the best quarterback-coach combination that the Patriots have gone up against this year, and I think it's probably, from soup to nuts, the best passing game that they've faced all year. But I think the other side is that the Patriots matchups, offense versus the New York defense, favor New England to a point where I would have to favor New England in this game. I think New England's going to end up winning this thing by 10, 14 points. I think it's going to be a fun game. I think it's going to be an interesting game. And again, I think the Giants are going to get their points, but I think in the end, New England ends up winning the shootout.
All right, we'll have complete team coverage from MetLife Stadium on Sunday afternoon. Ryan Hannibal, Christopher Price, and yours truly with all of the information on WEEI.com and, of course, the blog at It Is What It Is at WEEI.com. For Christopher Price, outside of rainy Gillette Stadium, I'm Mike Petraglia, WEEI.com.